now we are from Adam Tower with wonderful experts. And the topic for this discussion is the DeepTech Paradox. Where are the women? So let's start with answering to that question by step. May I ask for the round of introduction, because I am very flabbergasted. I'm looking at the experts on the topic in the Netherlands, and they are amazing. Burnik, the founder of VAICE. Semra Çelebi, who is the lead for female entrepreneurship in the Netherlands, the City of Amsterdam chapter. And Iffat Gill, who is the founder of digital Starling, and at the same time the lead for Code to Change organization. Thank you for being here. May I ask you to just give a round of applause to the whole global community watching us today? Thank you. And if you may introduce yourself just in a few words so they know.
I'll start with the ladies first.
Thank you so much, Eric. So kind. Right. I'm the founder of Code to Change, just like you mentioned, focusing on digital skills gap to be more precise. And with digital styling, I'm focusing on bringing more women online for economic empowerment. We'll be talking more about that in just a little bit.
Thank you, Iffat.
So I'm Semra. I work for the City of Amsterdam now for 12 years already. Mm-hmm. And since January, I'm responsible for female entrepreneurship and women in tech at StartupAmsterdam.
What a job.
Yes, I love it.
Thank you.
So I'm Eric Burnik, a serial entrepreneur, and one of the companies that I recently started is a voice AI company, and I wanted to bring diversity from top down, so that's why I'm here.
Okay, thank you. And the question that we have to answer is pretty much, well, what I announced, where are the women? But let's dive deeper into that and why you are here to address the topic. So first of all, as women AI community, we are focusing on artificial intelligence, empowering women to become AI experts or business experts who understand the magic, the power of the innovative technology. Saying that, we also see that there's not so many of us. The majority are men, and there's a huge gender gap in the ecosystem, whether it's startup or business field, maybe even government. I don't know. We're going to look into that. But where are the women? We're 50% of this planet, and we're not visible. So trying to breach that gender gap and enable gender parity, we would be looking today into the challenges, the opportunities, and various programs in support. Let me start with asking a question. If we are looking at the global dynamics in terms of gender diversity in the field of innovations and across the globe, Iffat comes as an expert from Code to Change, because your organization is bridging skills gap and enabling women across the globe to also take advantage of the field of technology. How would you describe the whole global state of diversity?
Right. Eve, let me just say this, it's not looking good. If we look at just the access to internet, the gap stands now at 32.9%, and that's an estimate. And of course, it varies from country to country. If you look at least developed countries, the gap is bigger, and it's different in the Western world, for example. The same goes for skills gap, of course. Women are less likely to use the internet, of course, for both economic and social empowerment or to access opportunities. It's also not looking very good there. It's interesting that you asked where are the women, but my personal opinion is we are there. We're standing at the door, we're knocking, we're trying to get in, and my sentiment is we're not allowed in. If we look at the gap, let's say AI, the gap stands at 12%. That's the number of women right now in this.
Is it true?
Yes, definitely. Wow. So that's the state. We have a lot of work to do. There are many initiatives, of course, working on it, but I think there's a lot more that we need to do so that we can move the needle on that.
Thank you. I wish we would move that needle very fast to achieve the 50-50 as soon as possible, not in 200 years, as many researchers are defining that. Speaking of Amsterdam, Semra, as you lead the female entrepreneurship here, Amsterdam is a very innovative city. The country is number 5 on Global Innovation Index. what about the state of diversity here? Are we number 1, number 5, number everything? I'm not sure. What's the state?
I think we're number 17 or something, so we're doing quite bad. And if you look at the European numbers, Spain is doing much better than we are, for example, which you maybe wouldn't expect at the first place. So there's a big challenge there. And what I see also when we talk about the tech sector in the Netherlands, only 17% of the women work in the tech sector. So that's also not only entrepreneurs, but also at corporates in those jobs. So that's one of the first things. And second, that has to do with young women not choosing for STEM education. So we'll definitely see a big challenge for us as a government there, talking to schools and see what kind of programs we can do with them to make even young girls interested in these in this education. And then when we look at female entrepreneurs that want to scale their business or even start a business, there are a few things that are really obvious that we see, and that has to do with confidence. So there are still too many women who are not confident enough to take that step, to actually really knock on that door and own their idea, their business, everything. That's a big, and that's something that we want to run programs on too. That has to do with pricing your value. That has to do with also how do you sell yourself, the personal branding part. But also another big thing that we see, that there's a lack of role models. So we want to invest in women who are there, and to invest in them to make them more visible and get them on stages like you are doing right now, basically. So those are the different things that we see as our responsibility also as a government, to be the first party to actually, not the first, but one of the bigger organizations that take that lead in order to actually build a society, build a city, build a metropolitan area that is ready for the future.
And that's a fantastic plan, because you have everything apparently defined as challenges and aligned in terms of strategy, right?
Yes.
And then what do you think, how fast can we make it to the top countries with diversity?
I hope within
in practice
1 or 2 years.
1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna speak
at least the second place, at least.
At least the second place. Great. We need to all collaborate on that topic and get women involved. And speaking of getting women on board, Eric is here, who is a true ally to women, and he gave me a call, I don't know, a month or so ago, asking, could you please recommend me a woman who is an expert in the field of technology, AI, because Eric was starting his own business, VAICE. Please do follow him on LinkedIn. He is a very, very driven entrepreneur, having all these awesome ideas. And he asked me the question, I can find women, can you please recommend me some, because you and women in AI? And that's how we started working together, talking to each other. Eric, what's the interest? Why didn't you just feel in position in the standard way with another white, awesome guy?
I think that was the biggest challenge. Is if you look at it, let me say it from Western world perspective. If you look at it at the top, is white old men, and they, due to some circumstances, we have made the gap much bigger. One of them is Me Too movement that happened, and now the men are more scared to talk with women and to interact, because you're scared to have different thoughts when you make a joke, that you will get some different feedback. And that, when I have 2 other companies, when I realized I had to do for a third company, I came up with an idea for voice AI that will change, that will support at least the sales industry. I thought I have to do from totally something different that is outside of my comfort zone, and sharing the cake of the company with the women. And because I believe, as Semra also said, we have to create role models. If you look at it, the bell curve, usually what you have the early adapters, like innovators, like Oprah is one of the innovators. She broke the rules, basically. And then you have the early adapters, which is 12 and 30%. You ladies are in there. You're trying to push this movement. And then you have the early majority. That's basically what we have to get that curve. because now we are here and the curve goes very fast up. And then you have the laggers, and those are the people that basically I know already what I'm going to say. You're not going to like me because that's the 16% of the minority. But those are currently running the companies.
Yeah.
So to be able to change that, we have to start from the bottom. So we have to create more role models. And with the idea, with our vision from the company, we thought we want to create role models from the top down and not from the bottom up. So we have a great Turkish lady, an expat in the Netherlands. She joined the team. She is now leading the AI part of it. I'm very proud, and she's doing great. We have a great match, and now we are trying to expand to get more women as a role models. Especially to be frank, for a white, Caucasian, Dutch lady as a role model is great, but we have to have an expat role model in the same position. That will create the minority that they can look up to, and they will say, "Hey, I would love to be in that position."
Yeah.
So that's why we
absolutely agree with you, because we need people not only of different genders, but different identities, different colors, different views on and opinions, and call it unbiased future. Cannot be unbiased, saying right away, can be less biased, that's for sure.
Exactly.
But as much as possible when we are all included into the data sets or just collaboration with each other, getting to know each other better. And you gave me shiver because that wonderful Turkish lady is a member of Women in AI, as I remember.
Correct.
Woohoo! Yes.
That's on you, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, I'm proud to establish a match.
Yeah, by the way, for audience, that I have to be also very honest, give the credit also to somebody else. I called Semra first, and I was introduced, and then Semra introduced me to Eve, and then Eve introduced me to our current chief AI officer. So now that's how
that's how
we
we want to be connected. That's how we want to connect ourselves, of course, to each other and to build the ecosystem, make it stronger.
Yes, that's how you make a difference. Not just by knowing people, but being core, not collaborative even, but compassionate, being involved and finding the solutions to various problems. Speaking of establishing this connection, Semra and I know each other for a few years for the female entrepreneurship. And this is a great passion of mine, not just an ambassador for Women in AI, but also the initiator of VAICE program. I won't be spending too much time explaining what VAICE is about. Please do visit our web page, womenai.co, VAICE. But in short, this is a novel business acceleration program. It is focused on ethical leadership and knowledge of business, how to start your venture in the field of AI, data science, and machine learning. And it's tailored to female innovators. You had an idea, but you were not confident about it. You had an idea, but you didn't know how to monetize them on that. You had an idea, but you didn't have simple funding. That stopped you. What we did, we decided to provide you with a platform where every limitations are removed. You build courage, you build as a participant, you build knowledge about AI, business, and so on. And with this power, you are much faster to grow because every woman who is an expert or knows technology has double chances to grow as fast as possible to become a scale up in her venture and make a difference. It's not only about commercial startups that are commercial proof. We are focusing on sustainable development goals, social impact. And we have now 30 participants from across the globe who are doing tremendous things with AI. The power of AI helps them to mitigate wildfires, to enable unbiased recruitment, less biased recruitment, to analyze cultures. We have Davar from iVal today. That is a session that she's running about cultural intelligence, and Davar is part of the Accelerate program. We have various other participants, and especially the focus on giving this right for women, not in the suffragist way, but right for women to find courage, as Semra said, to stand up, to start moving forward, being proud of their woman potential. Speaking of VAICE, we have 3 wonderful speakers who are actually part of VAICE, and I would like to establish a connection to our program as well. We have tremendous amount of experts and organizations. Semra, as I mentioned you for the strategic connection, Semra represents the city of Amsterdam, StartupAmsterdam, and also she is together with Smart Health Amsterdam supporting our program as strategic partner. Also, you've seen their logos as golden partners for this VAICE Summit, and this is really, really important for me that you're so actively involved with making a difference. Why did you pick VAICE Accelerate to support? Is it that strategic enough?
Because artificial intelligence is the future.
Okay.
It's the future, and it's very important that we build an unbiased one. Diversity and inclusion is one of the most important topics for the city of Amsterdam. It's something that we want to push forward. And so in every sector, especially in the tech and AI sector. So, and it's just very important that we invest in that sector, because we are way behind. There's so much to catch up. Mm-hmm. So I'm very proud that it's running right now, and we're trying to, promote it as much as we can, to be an example maybe also for other cities in the Netherlands, and to see if we can push on with it.
Yeah, thank you for believing in us and our wonderful women innovators who are building the startups. Eric, you are one of the speakers. Why are you sharing your knowledge so easily with those unknown women?
So I believe in practice,
mm-hmm.
and I've come from a bottom, so I was not secure. What we had a discussion in the beginning. You don't know what to say. You don't have the confidence.
Yeah.
There is a cockiness and a confidence is a very thin line, so you have to watch out not come over as a cocky person. And the only way to change that for females also is by practicing. So it's just going outside, talking to other people and getting the courage and
mm-hmm.
getting feedback, positive feedback, also negative feedback. And that's one of the reasons that I would love to help, and I would love to share the experiences that I have experienced basically from every different culture that I've lived in. I was born in Africa, lived in US, lived in different countries mm-hmm. in Europe. And so what I commonly see is that the female tend to be more, it's okay, I'm not that good. But male will be cocky, will say, I don't have anything to lose, just go for it. So that gap I would like to change by just practicing the small steps. The 1,000 miles, the full marathon, you can only run when you step your first step.
Okay, well, women to become more cocky, right? I heard you.
Absolutely. But fun things that I would like to share. We as a men, we have to be also fair, because when a man is cocky, we say, he's arrogant and etc. Is macho, or he's doing well. But when female does that, then it's sorry for my French, just beep if you can. She's a bitch, mm-hmm. and that mentality we have to change. And that's looking to everybody as a fair person, as a human being.